Thank you, free screen recorder, for cutting me off. Sorry. I will pick up as best as I can where I left off. Basically, what this class allows you to do is iterate through all the results, or at least the objects that are being passed in from your LDAP template search. So what I did here is create a search function that takes in a blank argument here and my filter that I had defined up here, as well as a new contact attribute mapper JSON. This class is basically what we do with whatever we wish to do with our results. I don't know the exact Java terminology, but I'm pretty sure. I hope that explains it. So I have no idea why this is giving me an error here. But in this contact attribute mapper JSON, oh, thank you, Eclipse. In this contact attribute mapper JSON, what I did is I will be returning an object as the LDAP template expects a list of objects to be returned. A list can either be 0 to an amount of results. And what I did here is I got the IDs, basically the attributes in your LDAP database. These differ from database to database. It's very, as you can say, dynamic. And what I did here is create a new JSON object. So while this enumeration has more, what I'm going to be doing is adding these into a JSON object and return this JSON object in string format. So this hello is about to get blown away. When we run this, I was hoping for some results. What am I missing? This is how much of a good programmer I am. You have to see the results, right? So, I forgive my lack of programming professionalism, but I hope this gets the message across that you will be able to implement this in much more sophisticated manners than I have just shown. So, you'll see here that one object, when we examine one object, we have a UID, and this ID person is Newton. The people that implemented this database thought it would be nice to pay homage to fathers of science. You also have Einstein later on down here. There's also Tesla, etc. This person's male, which could be another attribute of any LDAP database. Their surname, and their CN, which is their full contact name, and the object class, which is an INET.org person. Some of these are defaults, such as SN and CN. However, I've worked with LDAP databases that do not have the male attribute, and so on. So if you were to go in here and start defining attributes.getAttributeMale, you may be thrown an error. So it's always a good idea to see what attributes are in there first, build a dynamic JSON object, and return this JSON object. Better to be safe than sorry. And it doesn't work the same if you're searching for groups. That's just the way LDAP is. If you wish to get a group to a person's groups, what we will then have to do is make a bit more of a complex query. I will refer to my notes again. So basically what this will do now what I've done here is define my own custom LDAP object. This may look a bit more like an LDAP query to LDAP experts. Basically what I'm saying is I'm applying this AND filter here, that it has to be a group of names. These are just some default values that you would find in the LDAP database. Now if I actually run it, in order to run it, you must first apply the same code similar to what is found here. Still get thrown off with the imports. I'll hopefully get, well, 2 results here. So apparently this LDAP is not part of a group. So it differs from LDAP database to LDAP database as to what the actual values are of these attributes. However, this is the query to get groups of a particular user. In the next tutorial, I will cover on how to instantiate a bean with using the LDAP template, and we will see on how we can implement this with a web service using creating a REST API to get this particular string. If you're curious, there's a lot more tutorials on how to develop Spring MVC web applications to get a quick start. I will be using mostly middle technologies, mainly because of the ease of implementation. Spring Boot is a great resource to get started with. However, I will mostly be using Spring MVC, and I encourage you to go forth and implement. So, if you have any questions, you know where to hit me up, and thanks for your time. I hope this has been helpful.